Hello, fellow internet citizens. Eric from Hit Subscribe here, and today I've got a pretty straightforward topic, which is how to get every external link on your site to open in a new tab. And I'm going to do this specifically with WordPress, assuming that you've got a blog and a site done in WordPress. Although, if you have a different CMS, probably similar concepts would apply. So if you want to learn, number one, how to do that, and also kind of why and some backstory, stay tuned. All right, so let's dive into the motivation for this a little bit first before I actually get into the nuts and bolts of how to do it. Why would you want to open external links or to have your site open external links in another tab instead of just kind of the default behavior of doing it in the same tab? There are three kind of main components to this. Now, before I get into those, let me give you a little bit of a caveat here. Personally, when I'm browsing, I actually go out of my way to right click on a link and say open in a new tab. I am the sort of person that prefers all of my links to open in new tabs, because if I'm reading something, I usually want to read it all the way through. And if I see an interesting link that I want to read more about, I want to pin that and kind of do it later. That is my personal preference. And the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of you probably also have your personal preference. So much so that from a user experience perspective, the open it in a new tab or open it in the current tab is kind of like Coke versus Pepsi or iPhone versus Android. And people get really partisan on either side about it. I actually don't personally care that much. I am teaching you how to do one of these things and citing motivations for it under the assumption that you've probably done your research and you want to do it, etc. I'm not so much trying to take a stand. So if you are kind of a partisan on the side of open it in the same tab, my apologies. But that being said, I'm going to proceed with the motivations and then the how-to. All right, so why do this? The first reason is kind of the user experience argument, at least the partisan side in favor of it, which is that your readers might very well not want to leave your page every time they click on a link. So that's the first one. Note, though, that that one is a bit contentious. There is, the aforementioned back and forth there. But the other two are probably a little bit less contentious. The first reason has to do with ranking factors from an SEO perspective. The search engine is going to measure your site and its rankability based on an awful lot of factors, but a couple of those are how much time do people spend on your page and at what rate do they bounce from the page. So what I mean by this is the search engine can tell if they serve your site up, people click on that site, do they spend a long time reading the page, the search result that they clicked on, or do they leave kind of quickly? Do they hit the back button? Do they do things of that nature? Now, if you have someone on your page and you're opening links in the same tab, they're going to your page and only staying there maybe until they get as far as that link. They're not getting as far into the page. They're not staying there as long, shorter dwell time, and then they're on to other content because they have, inline clicked and new content has been loaded in that tab. This is a mildly negative ranking factor for your site. So if instead they're popping a new tab from your page, that is a better ranking factor because they're still on that page. And in general, they're also probably not going to be as distracted and they're going to continue reading. So it does help a little bit with ranking for search engine optimization purposes. And then the other reason I'll cite here that you might want to do this is just from a general marketing perspective. You have a site that you built and you want people to spend as much time there looking at your brand, reading your content, etc., as humanly possible. So you kind of want to give them no excuses really to leave the site, or at least don't encourage them, which opening links in the same tab kind of encourages them to leave almost. So what I'm doing here is I am talking about explicitly external links. I would encourage anyone reading this to still, for internal link purposes, open in the same tab. So external links, open in a new tab. If they're clicking around your site, that's fine. That's actually good from an SEO perspective because they're visiting multiple pages. They're more engaged. So keep those internal links in the same tab. All right, so let's assume I've convinced you that you actually do, in fact, want to have external links open in a new tab. How can you do it? Well, in WordPress, there are two ways. One of them involves manually editing a link. So I'm going to have some footage here that'll go along with this, but Basically, what you would do is in the actual post, you would navigate to the link in question, and then you would go into the advanced link options that you might not know exist, and you would set it to open in a new tab. So you would do that on a per link basis. That is the manual way to do it, and I actually don't recommend that way. There is another option that you can do, which is to kind of edit your PHP. You can put like scripts in your WordPress site. I also don't really recommend that because that's not great from a maintenance perspective. That creates it's not necessarily clear to future maintainers that you've gone and added custom code, and things like that can get lost when WordPress updates or your theme updates. So I wouldn't go that route myself. What I would land on instead is the WordPress plugin route, and that is what I'm going to show you how to do here. The caveat that, or the objection people might have with that is you kind of want to err on the side of not having too many WordPress plugins. That can start to hurt your performance. I think this is a worthwhile one to have, and it's pretty low overhead, the one I'm going to talk about here. So I guess the different ways you could do it I've covered, but the one I would most certainly go with is the WordPress plugin route. All right, so lastly, how do you do this? Well, you're going to go to your plugins page, and this is actually about as simple as it gets to doing anything in WordPress. So you're going to go to add a new plugin. You're going to start typing open external links, something along those lines, and pretty quickly it's going to get you to what you want, which is a plugin quite simply called external links in new window. We're going to go ahead and install that plugin and then activate it. And honestly, that's completely it. Once it's activated, it does exactly what it is intended to do. Plain and simple, no fuss, no muss. There is an advanced screen here where if you want, you can enter like wildcard expressions or customize it to not open certain links in a new tab or to open certain internal links in a new tab or something. So you do have that option. But if you just want to get external links opening in a new tab, all you need to do is install this plugin and activate it, and then you're good to go. And as you can see, once that's in place, any external links that you have are automatically opening in a new tab. And coming from a software background, I can't express how advantageous this is because compared to the other approaches where you're either editing the PHP of the site or putting in custom code that's hard to maintain. If you're going in and manually doing this for every individual link, that's a lot of work in the first place. But then imagine the future work if you later decide for whatever reason that you don't want to do this. You know, somebody takes over who is on the other side of this issue and really doesn't like external links opening in a new tab. Well, now you're going to have to go and find every individual link on the blog and change that setting. So you don't want to do that either. Long and short of it, this WordPress plugin, I would say, is absolutely the way to go. You can, within 20 seconds or something, have all of your external links opening in new tabs. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, so that's going to do it for this little how-to here. Hopefully some of you have found that helpful. If you did find it helpful, I'd love it if you were to give us a like. As the channel is small and growing, the likes really do help. If you found it valuable enough and you want additional content, you can always subscribe and then hit that bell down next to the subscribe button, and that'll email you when there's new videos on the channel. But then, of course, if you didn't like this, we are looking for feedback. You can give it a thumbs down. And in any case, feel free to let us know what you think in the comments. And with that, I will catch you next time.